Have you ever watched a person's soul leave their body? I have. I saw it happen in the sterile, suffocating quiet of a downtown Chicago law office on a Tuesday afternoon. The air, thick with the scent of old paper and expensive leather, felt heavy enough to choke on. My wife, Sarah, sat across from me, her knuckles white as she gripped the mahogany table. Her carefully constructed mask of indignation was beginning to crack. The tremor started in her hands, a faint vibration that traveled up her arms until her shoulders were shaking. She thought it was the moment of truth. She had no idea I had written the ending to this chapter of our lives months ago. Her world wasn't just ending, I was the one ending it. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. For 10 years, Sarah was my everything. We built a life in a brownstone just off Lincoln Park, the kind of life you see in magazines. I'm a structural engineer. I build things that last, things with integrity. I thought our marriage was one of them. But foundations can have cracks you don't see until the whole structure starts to groan. The first groan was a text message. I was grabbing my laptop from her car, and the screen lit up on the passenger seat. 2 a.m., a name I didn't recognize. Mark. The message was simple. Tonight was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. My heart hammered against my ribs. I placed the phone back down, my hand shaking, and backed away as if it were a venomous snake. That night, sleeping next to her, her body felt alien, a landscape of betrayal I was just beginning to map. The strange behavior started to click into place like a key in a lock. The late work meetings, the new, expensive lingerie she bought, but I never saw. The way she angled her phone away from me. She became a stranger with my wife's face. She'd sneer when I asked where she'd been, her voice dripping with a cold, manipulative venom. Are you questioning me? After everything I do for this family? The gaslighting was a masterclass. She made me feel small, paranoid, and controlling for simply asking for the truth. The villains, her and this phantom Mark, felt untouchable, wrapped in a bubble of arrogance and deceit. They were having their fun, and I was the punchline to a joke I didn't even know I was part of. The breaking point came on our anniversary. I'd booked a table at our favorite spot on Rush Street, the place where I proposed. She canceled an hour before, citing a last-minute deadline. I knew it was a lie. I drove past her office building on Wacker Drive. The entire floor was dark. My chest caved in. I spent our anniversary parked in a garage across the street, watching the empty windows of her office, the 10-year promise we made turning to ash in my mouth. I didn't cry. It was worse than that. A cold, hard resolve settled in my bones. The loyal, loving husband was gone, and in his place, something strategic and ruthless began to grow. From that day on, I was a ghost in my own home. I gathered proof with the same meticulous precision I used to design skyscrapers. I hired a private investigator, a gruff ex-cop, who delivered a manila envelope that felt like it weighed 100 pounds. The photos were gut-wrenching. Sarah and Mark, leaving a boutique hotel on the Gold Coast. His arms slung possessively around her head thrown back in laughter. There were receipts for gifts I never received, hotel stays I never knew about. I set up a secret bank account, methodically moving half of our joint assets. I consulted a shark of a divorce attorney, a woman whose smile never reached her eyes. We laid the traps, legal and financial, piece by painful piece. Sarah remained oblivious, floating through her perfect life, never noticing the ground crumbling beneath her feet. The final act was set in motion when Sarah announced she was pregnant. She cried tears of joy, wrapping her arms around me, telling me this was the miracle we'd been waiting for. I felt nothing but ice in my veins. I played the part of the ecstatic husband, all while knowing the truth. Mark, her lover, was a coward. When I confronted him privately, showing him a single photo, his smug facade evaporated. He confessed everything, even admitting he had doubts about the paternity. His wife, a woman named Emily, was a different story. She was a firestorm of righteous fury. It was she who demanded the paternity test. And that brings us back to the lawyer's office. Mark and his wife Emily were there. Emily, a woman I'd never met, was my greatest ally. She held the sealed envelope from the lab. Sarah was trying to project confidence, but her eyes darted around the room like a cornered animal. "This is ridiculous," she stammered, looking at me. Complete violation of my privacy. I just stared back, my face a mask of stone. Emily didn't say a word. She simply slid the envelope across the polished table, stopped directly in front of Sarah. The room was silent. The only sound was the frantic beat of my own heart, a drum counting down to detonation. Sarah's shaking hands reached for the envelope. She tore it open. Her eyes scanned the single sheet of paper, and a strangled gasp escaped her lips. The color drained from her face, leaving behind a waxy, pale sheen. 0% probability of paternity for me. 99.9% for Mark. She started shaking, not from a tremor, but from a full-body convulsion of pure, unadulterated horror. Her perfect world, her perfect plan, had just been incinerated. My lawyer cleared his throat and began to list the terms of the divorce petition I had filed that morning. The freezing of assets, the evidence of infidelity, the request for sole ownership of the brownstone due to fraudulent claims. She was ruined. Socially, legally, and emotionally destroyed. I stood up, adjusted my tie, and walked out of the room without a backward glance, leaving the wreckage of 3 lives smoldering behind me. The house is quiet now. Silence is a heavy blanket, thicker than any sound. Sometimes I walk through the empty rooms, and I can almost hear the ghost of our laughter, but it fades quickly. Revenge isn't sweet. It's just empty. It's the end.